Hello, and happy Thursday. I'm your host, Marisa, and let me be the first to welcome you back to The Scoop. We have a full lineup today with Matti letting us know what to watch this week on Netflix. But first, as always, let's kick it off with a deep dive into the world of pop culture. This one is for all the Lady Gaga fans and/or fashion lovers. So Lady Gaga is actually starring in a new movie called House of Gucci, where she's playing this Italian socialite who's basically convicted of planning and orchestrating her ex-husband's murder. And her ex-husband just happens to be Maurizio Gucci, the former head of the iconic brand. So that's filming now and should be released in late November. So stay tuned for that. Justin Bieber just released his latest album called Justice, and it is already hitting the charts. I mean, this album really says so much about him, especially having to compare it to Purpose back in 2015, which was such an incredible album overall. I mean, it was going to be hard to live up to what he gave us 6 years ago, but he has done all that and more. You need to go check out this album. Again, it's called Justice. Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, potentially. Anyways, go listen to it. Oh, even YouTube Music. Yes, you got it. Go listen. And I really think you'll enjoy. I guess the whole theme of this episode is pop singers because this next story is about none other than Britney Spears. And, you know, we've talked about her on the show before. We've talked about the whole Free Britney movement. And while there's been no new developments with that legal-wise, I mean, she's still under her father's conservatorship. Social media has been all over this sit-down, tell-all interview with Britney and Oprah. And while nothing's been confirmed, social media is all over this happening because it would be the first time that we would actually hear Britney share her story, hear her perspectives without any outside influences, and just like understanding what she's been going through the past 20 years, however long she's been doing this for. And yeah, it would just be such an iconic moment in the whole Britney Spears legacy, because essentially we have never heard her without her father's censorship to kind of dictate what she does and what she says. And, you know, we know that Oprah is the best at these tell-all interviews. So what better pair to sit down and just chat for a little? So stay tuned to see what happens with that. But now we have Matti. She's going to let us know what's happening this week on Netflix. So let's take it to Matti.
Hey, it's Matti, and welcome back to New Flicks on Netflix. Today we just have a shorter one. I'm only going to be talking about the new Netflix original series called Ginny and Georgia. I heard a lot of good things about it going into it. Coming out of it, I disagreed with those opinions. It's about a single mother named Georgia and her daughter Ginny, and also their son. He's so adorable. Lots of Harry Potter references there, if you like that. But kind of navigating the intersections between Georgia and her past mistakes and Ginny's present mistakes, and how they're dealing with a move to a new place in Boston, which is very different from the South that they had lived in before. They deal with a lot of issues, very Gilmore Girls-esque, I've heard. They dealt with Ginny being multiracial, sexuality tensions, and just navigating high school, which I thought was cool. But just overall, the show was not it. There wasn't much chemistry between the actors. Like, all the love interest scenes, like, made me cringe, because just the characters that had the most chemistry were not put together in any scenes, which absurd to me, but whatever. And I just feel like a lot of the jokes are very cringy, and in there trying to be very socially aware, they just were kind of cringy. Like, there was a line about the Oppression Olympics that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. There was that whole thing with this show with Taylor Swift and how they made a comment, oh, you go through men faster than Taylor Swift, and she didn't like that, which I thought was funny, but I didn't even catch it. But if that kind of line doesn't give you the kind of mood they were going for in it, it was just too much for me. I would give it like a 3. Not even, that's generous, a 2.5. I thought some of the flashback aspects were cool. Whoever casted young Georgia deserves a pay raise. That was one of the only things I paid attention to because the actors look so much alike. But aside from that, I was not a fan. I feel like they could have done a much better job, and they just didn't. So that's my take on Ginny and Georgia. Hopefully next week there'll be some more new stuff I can review. The cringier the better, so tune in for next time. Thank you.
And that's actually going to be our closing segment today. Thank you so much for joining us on The Scoop, and I will see you in 2 weeks with the latest in pop culture, what's happening on Netflix, and more news in gaming, maybe even a little TikTok recipe in there. So I hope everyone enjoys their Thursday and has a great weekend. I'll see you guys all soon. Bye.